Touring Car Masters on track for race 2 of the weekend. John Bow got his 79th race win in TCM history yesterday. And we'll start from pole position alongside Jason Gomersall on that very impressive two-door 809X Tirana for iSeek Racing. Glenn Seaton and Stephen Johnson, double duties this weekend for those two guys. Eddie Abelnika and Jim Richards, Andrew Fisher and Mark King, and Sven Burkhardt and Cameron Tilley on the 5th row. The two Garwoods, son and father this time alongside each other, and Wayne Mercer, Rowan Little, down to Darren Bill making his debut. Bruce Williams, we'll talk about him during the coverage. Tony Karafilovsky has repaired that car after that incident with Rusty French yesterday in that first race.
Because finding bits for a Mustang at Winton,
hard work on a Saturday afternoon.
would be an easy thing to do on a Saturday afternoon, I would have thought.
Here's Adam Garwood changing the gearbox on this car, didn't they, on Friday night? He had a very messy couple of laps in the first race. Tony Karafilovsky is back out. Great to see the Tiff's warehousing distribution entry. Nice way to put some heat through the tyres.
Warming the tyres up a little bit, and you see the diff hop. You watch a gear stick shake like crazy when he does that. It's because the rear wheels are bouncing up and down as it tries to put the power onto the ground.
So it's been patched up overnight. Rusty French is due to start out at 19 as well, alongside of Leo Tobin. Great conditions out there, and must have been a real special moment for Slater yesterday.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's great for the whole team. We all certainly had a pretty good night's sleep last night, I would say. It's very tense, but what a job he did. He didn't put a foot wrong. Very, very impressed.
And getting some cars under the 119 mark. They've been threatening to do that all weekend. Were you surprised you saw so many cars that close in the top 10?
No, not today. I mean, you got three licks at it, and soft tyre, plenty of rubber on the ground. Early in the morning, there's not much junk. I thought it was about where we expected them to be honest.
67 laps to come up later today. The Woodstock Winton Super Sprint, 200 kilometres around Winton Motor Raceway. We've been coming here since 1985. The Touring Car Masters is an old Tirana front row. Like the look of the second row. Glenn Seaton was looking pretty racy late in race 1.
And John Bow will be trying to win the start here again. Yesterday that worked out really well for him. I think whoever's first in the first corner is going to take a fair bit of beating, because these cars are all so close. It's not so easy to pass. So
great moment here for Jason Gomersall as well, and fairly even at the start. And Gomersall, in fact, got the jump here, but Bow has the better line down to turn 1.
He'll try and hang out the outside and get the run up into 3, which he's done.
They're still side by side across the old start-finish line. They kept their formation. This is good stuff. So Adam Garwood in along the curb in turn number 1, and lucky not to spin his Tirana further back in the field. He's up to 9th place from the 6th row on the grid, but Jason Gomersall will lead us down to turn 5.
Great job by him off the start. He really needed to get to the front, I feel, early, and to hang around the outside and outmaneuver John Bow. Not an easy thing to do on any day.
Sven Burkhardt's going a little bit further back in the field here at the moment. He was nudged inside the top 10. He was quickest in practice earlier in the weekend, but haven't really seen the Tirana fire a shot. At the Porsche, I should say, fire a shot.
Hard part for him is when he's caught in this traffic, they're slowing him down around the corners, and so when they get on the straight, they blast by him, but he carries speed into and through the corner, so he needs a bit of a gap to the car in front of him so he can get a gap to the car behind him so no one passes him.
Impressive debut for the Jason Gomersall Matchstone Racing prepared Tirana. So he's done 20 laps in the lead into this weekend's event up at Queensland Raceway. And John Bow starts to apply the pressure for that Wilson Security Tirana.
He'll want to get a good result this weekend. He's certainly working the car hard. You see him duck out and get a bit of clear air. I bumped into Brian Boyd, who's one of the sponsors, Pace, on this car, and he's here for the weekend to obviously watch the Volvos and have a look and see how JB's going in this rig.
He was very good here last year on debut in this car. Glenn Seaton in 3rd place and closing in on John Bow. Replay of the start, and Gomersall got the jump here, but on the wrong side here going into turn 1. Bow had to get up on the curb. So Garwood
really, it's a fantastic job giving each other a bit of racing room, but what that did was put JB out on the marbles, and hard to get the power going when you're out there.
It's further back in the field. This is Adam Garwood, ready to pounce. Everybody fanned out. It's not the widest racetrack, Winton, and Garwood wanted to make it 3 wide. Got a couple of cars here, and lucky not to get tangled up.
Wow.
So easy to do. How tough, didn't he?
Very, very lucky not to have contact there.
3 positions made up for the young Tasmanian teenager. Lap 2 of 12, so we're settling down a little bit. There he is, looking for the pass on Mark King down there at turn number 10. We'll jump on board with the Tasmanian.
What's interesting when you watch his feet here, he flat changes that car, so he doesn't use the clutch, he just lifts off the throttle a little bit, and you see him lift off the throttle. That's enough to allow it to drag it in out of the gears. John Bow, great move here on Jason Gomersall, got up the inside. Jason probably got in a little bit too deep, and JB slid straight down to the inside.
And watch Glenn Seaton here too. This has brought him into the 3-car argument. Either way, it's a strong debut for Gomersall, the leader in the Pro-Am class by just 7 points coming into this weekend's round.
Bow's instantly put a bit of a gap in there to Gomersall, so I just wonder if Gomersall, everything's fine with that car, because that was certainly close. See JB jink to the inside there. Just brake a little bit later and get over to the apex. Jason didn't look like he was turning into the apex at all there, so he was certainly giving him a bit of racing room.
Already it's out to nearly a second. There's your leaderboard Bow from Gomersall, Seaton and Johnson. These guys have done plenty of laps this weekend in the Toyota 86 series as well, which is coming up later today. Come in for Jimmy Richards. And this big angry pack there is Sven Burkhardt behind Cam Tilley. That's 9th and 10th position, and Bruce Williams a little bit further back there at 11th. Seaton's got the elbows up this weekend, hasn't he?
Well, he's certainly doing some miles.
Probably need him around here. He's done a few.
Yeah, I think he could cut a lap around here with his eyes shut.
That race qualifying many years ago, he talked himself through a lap with the onboard camera. I think he got in pole position that year, winding the clock back 15 or so years back. And this is Garwood.
A little bit of contact there when Mark King gives him just enough racing room.
But impressed with young Adam. He's coming to Sports GT racing down in Tasmania. Saw him at the brief appearance last year and full-time in the championship, and broke through for his first win in Adelaide on the Sunday race this year at the Clipsal 500. The weekend started off pretty badly, and as you know, once it does do, that tends to stay that way.
Absolutely. All these cars nose to tail. We've got a dice here really for 5th place, and usually when you've got 5 or 6 cars all stumbling over one another like this, there tends to be a bit of action eventually. So we'll watch this pretty closely to see what the outcome is.
Might have to go off the
Mark King a bit wide there.
So we run down to turn number 10. So it's Garwood, Tilley and Burkhardt. 8th, 9th and 10th. So Garwood from the 6th row inside the top 10. So we come through to complete lap number 4. It's Eddie Abelnika. The Melbourne's cheapest cars, Falcon Coupe. Ahead of Andy Fisher. We haven't seen much of Andy. He's been in the top 10 all weekend, and now we've got a big challenge. It might go 3 wide here, Brad.
Garwood just got a little bit wide there. He's like not to shoot off the track. Maybe outbraked himself a little bit on the way into the last turn. That allowed Cameron Tilley to slide down the inside.
Garwood should get it done down here nicely. Tilley's going to make it as hard as he can. At the same time, protect the line from Sven Burkhardt in the Porsche.
Well, they both have the same problem. They've got really fast cars around corners, but they just don't have the horsepower to hold the V8 off. But what it's done is it's dropped them back a fair way off Mark King, and it's allowed Bruce Williams to loom at the back of them.
Bruce debuting that car this weekend, the number 5 Tirana, built by legendary car builder Les Small. He built the original Tirana back in the 70s, the Roadways team.
And he clearly had a bit of paint left over when this one was being assembled, because he's painted it the same colour. But I spoke to Bruce earlier, who's had a bit of trouble with the throttle sticking on this car, which is why he shut off the road yesterday. But they seem to have it all under control. He did a really good job. He's been very competitive, and he's just on his best lap for the race at the moment. So he'll see these guys.
Tony Kay, not so okay on the number 21 car there of Greg Garwood, who spun around.
That wasn't quite so pleasantly executed.
It's Adam Garwood.
Who's catching back up to Mark King.
Was
he? He was. That's his moment. He's a little bit loose. I'm not sure whether he had a hand for that or he got the rear wheels out in the muck, but you can hear him getting off the throttle when he's behind the pacer. They've certainly got those V8s. It makes a big difference when you've got a bit of horsepower.
So Andrew Fisher is stuck ahead of Eddie Abel-Mika here for 5th position. Brought Mark King into it. Through turn 5, so halfway home in race 2. Another one to come up following Virgin Australia Supercars Championship, and Fisher on the wrong side of the curb, and that's going to let 2 cars go by. Get the replay here. Front on. Contact. Oh, big contact, man. In fact. No wonder that car is handling weird.
I'd say he's got a fair bit of right hand down at this point in time. He's lucky to stay on the road. That does a couple of things. One, it bends the wheel line, puts it all out of shape, makes the car handle badly, and usually tips the steering wheel one way or another, and it makes the driver's heart rate go to about 196 for a few minutes. So between those two things, he'll be gathering himself up, and clearly he's struggling for pace.
Easy to bring that car in or just nurse it through and get some points?
No, he'll want to get some points, so I think he'll keep on going around. Sometimes you find once you get used to driving the car, when it's got bent steering, that it's not that much slower, so you rock it around and can keep a fair bit of pace going on. I see Jim Richards dropping down the leaderboard there. He's obviously got a problem somewhere on the circuit, or he's not been in the pits, so...
So sure, they did pop up in 4th or 5th position just a couple of seconds ago. Now he's gone tumbling down our timing screens. Keep an eye on that. There is Glenn Seaton, though, definitely in 3rd position, because that's Jason Gomersall ahead. And Bauer's margin now 4.6 seconds on lap number 7. There's Johnson behind. A long way back. That is Jimmy in the background there, so he's still out there. A long way off these guys ahead. Guys further back in the field, Greg Garwood, who got spun around. He's able to eke up King, Garwood, and then Cam Tilley. That'll back to 8th position, back on board. The number 12, Tirana.
See him give the brake pedal a bit of a pump. That's just the confidence to make sure that the brakes are there so you can pull the car up. So give it a bit of a pump, makes the pedal hard, pushes all the pads close to the disc, and then he's got a decent pedal when he jumps on the brakes and tries to pull the car up. As the race ticks by, they tend to fade a little bit. Now here's Glenn. He's all over Gomersall. He's in that zone where he's close enough that Jason just needs to make a tiny mistake and Glenn's going to be down the inside of him.
Left Stephen Johnson behind now. John Bauer set a new record too of 128.00. Take 2 tenths off what Glenn Seaton set yesterday in race number 1. Unsurprisingly, with a brand new track surface here at Winton Motor Raceway. So traditionally, you wouldn't see these kind of laps this time of the day. It's usually in the morning or in the afternoon here.
No, but I think because the V8 supercars have been out and put the soft rubber on the circuit, I really think that helps bring these cars into life a little bit.
Oh, Tilley.
Oh, Tilley, unfortunately, off.
That's turn 5. He's gone off the number 60 pacer, so it'll drop him down to outside the top 10. Glenn Seaton lining up Jason Gomersall here, but Gomersall driving very well. The debut of this 2-door Tirana.
Quite smart. He's not leaving too much room for Glenn to slide down the inside. So even though Glenn looks like he's got a little bit more pace, Jason's just running the car not on the inside of the road, but a little bit narrow to make it hard for Glenn to get down the inside of him. And it's certainly got good horsepower as we see him stretch the legs of that Tirana away from the Mustang.
It's been a long time in the making. Of course, the rules this year for the Touring Car Masters allowing the 2 doors into the category. It's the car that Jason's been dreaming of for a long, long time. He's been in the category for about 4 or 5 seasons.
That must just be a problem with the timing mechanism in Richards' car. He fluctuates up and down through the field. Now
Bauer starting to break through the lap traffic. That'll be Darren Bill, who's in the ex-Leo Tobin car that purchased in the lead up to this event. Leo owned a brand new car. He's gone to some Ford power this weekend.
Which looks like Bob Jane's Monaro. I mean, one of the great things about this category is you look at the different cars. I look at Burkhardt's Porsche. It reminds me of Alan Hamilton, who ran a little orange one just like that. You know, obviously Bruce Williams' car looks like the Gowan Hindhaugh Brock Run Tirana. I mean, I think it's fantastic that we look at some of these cars and they really reflect what we had in history.
Keeping the liveries. I like it. Car number 5 of Bruce Williams, former Thunderdome racer of the day as well. And this is Greg Garwood going off in the final turn.
He's been in the wars.
He has. This should be him coming front on. Just understeering off.
It's a bit of a weird one, really.
Yeah.
You just looked like you almost just drove straight off the track.
Got contact with Tony Karaflosky early. That's Bill being lapped by the second and third place cars of Gomersall and Seaton. Oh, he hits the curb and unsettles his car on the run down to turn 3. Stephen Johnson running a lonely race back there in 4th. He's got about 11 seconds back to Eddie Abelnika and Jimmy Richards also. And off goes the 19, and he'll get this car back on, hopefully. Waved yellows to leave the traffic. Crews on by, putting Karaflosky and Andrew Fisher, who's limping the Jesus Falcon around for the remainder of this race.
Well, Glenn can get to him. He just can't do anything about it once he's caught up to Jason Gomersall.
Turn 7 hairpin. All the wheel work is from Adam Garwood here. Around the famous gum tree and into turn 9, the switchback. What would be the old back straight in the days?
A little bit opposite lock where he's trying to pick up the throttle and drive down the inside. Nice and smooth with the steering.
Now Burkhardt's a long way back on the inside of Bruce Williams, and don't scar the paint.
Whoa.
Oh, he does. And Williams heads to the infield.
I think they both went off there.
And that hasn't hurt the steering on the number 5 Tirana. Enough of a hit, wasn't it? Now he's just going to pull the car up in time down there at turn number 11.
It must be terribly frustrating for Burkhardt's. You're so fast around the corners, but you've got those V8s that just keep on lumbering by you when you get down the straight. But I think it's going to take a little while before Williams catches back up to him after that exchange. Gomersall looks like he's just putting a little gap between himself and Glenn at the moment. So Glenn really needs to be on his rear bumper, hassling him along. You can tell that Jason's trying a little bit harder at the moment. He's climbing over the curbs a bit, which he wasn't doing earlier. All looks pretty good, but
till there.
Well, and I think Burkhardt's has tried to come out and use too much of the road on the exit there. He's got in really deep and now braked himself just a fraction when he's finished the execution of the move, and it's just bumped Bruce and himself off the road.
That's dropped him down to 10th place, and Burkhardt's up to 8th. Bruce will be jumping out this car and watching his Toyota 86 team. Sees Ben Grice in the field coming up after this. Lap 11 of 12. On board with Garwood again. It's Mark King ahead. It's very smooth. Had some driving support from Alex Davison last year when he ran a little Porsche down in Tasmania on radial tyres of all things down there. Final lap now for John Bowe in 6 seconds.
I mean, you watch JB, you see how close he is over on that white line. He uses all the road, he maximises every corner, gets the most out of the car, and he's doing a fantastic job for Wilson Security and Pace. They support him for years, and it doesn't seem to matter what he drives, he gets to the front. He's doing a great job in this car today.
It was strange at first not seeing him out there in Mustang Sally. This car 12 months ago, last weekend in fact, debuted here. And now sweeping through turn 8 past the gum tree, and will set sail for home to collect his second win of the weekend. Gomersall still ahead of Seaton. It's out to about half a second now. Johnson further back, panning back now to our second and third place cars in Garwood. Still can't get past Mark King.
And he's running out of time, so he'll have a couple of decent lunges here, I think, because I reckon King's probably got that thing it's a bit heavier, a bit hot and bothered. The brakes might be a bit more worn, so Oh, look at this.
He's trying. He's on the outside, though. Just to run down to turn 11. I think it could help him here as a switchback, isn't it? Meantime, John Bow comes out the final turn, and this will be race win number 80 in the Touring Car Masters for John Bow. Great margin of victory, back to nearly 7 seconds, and Gomersall will hold back Glenn Seaton, who ran side by side down the back straight. And Garwood will stay on board with, is going to hold on for 7th behind King, who menaced him all race long. It's up on 2 wheels on the exit, and from 13th on the grid, himself up inside the top 10. Well done. How good is this guy? 80 race wins now in the Touring Car Masters. He ended his pole position drought on Friday, and now there's back-to-back here at Winton. Bow from Gomersall, Seaton and Johnson, Richards home for 5th, and Abel Nika, King, Garwood, Burkhartz. And Tony Karanfilowski, after repairing his car, got inside the top 10. Bruce Williams 11th, Andy Fisher with his car limping towards the end, completing the top 12 in this race.